Hi, everyone. Welcome. That's fine. I'm Julie Jolly, and I am here to talk to you about TweenTribune. Lost it. There it is. Did it connect? Sorry, I'm trying to get it all fixed up. There we go. Yeah, it's saying it did. Oops. Okay, so I'm here with Heather Mars, and I am from Daugherty Elementary, and Heather is from Watson Technology Center. I teach 5th grade ELAR, math, social studies. My campus technology accessibility is shared one-on-one iPads, and we also have 2 class computers and, of course, computer lab. So I'm going to tell you about TweenTribune. It's a free website that you can subscribe or have a login for. And it was created to encourage young people to follow the news on a daily basis. The frequently updated site has different sections based on the Lexile levels, and it also has Spanish content. There's not a lot of hard news. The site leans more toward the human interest stories, like tales of kids who've done extraordinary things, and other topics include technology, fashion, health, and sports. The site also offers articles with comprehension questions, critical thinking, open-ended response, vocabulary enrichment. It has lesson plans, and individualized quiz scoring, and it has much, much more. Okay, it was really hard for me to pick out some ISTE standards because it almost hit every single one of the ISTE standards. Take a look for your lesson plans if you ever want to put these in your lesson plans. And I just wanted to show you an example. This is also on the website. It gives you the grade to Lexile level conversion. Of course, this isn't perfect, but it's just an example of what most of the Lexile levels are considered to be at what grade level. Okay. I found this on the website too. What are the 10 best ways to use this site? You can kill 3 birds with 1 stone. It meets the requirements for reading, writing, and computer technology. So there's 3 grades in 1. It encourages an expression, so they can pick a controversial story and then ask students to post a persuasive argument for their opinion. Or you can ask the students to find a comment they disagree with and ask them to post the facts that they make so that they can make an effective opposing argument. It teaches online skills to the young kids because there's also a Tribune Junior. They can tap on a topic that they like. So if you teach science, you can ask your kids to comment on science stories or in any of the subjects. You can start a conversation. So kids could also be blogging with kids that they don't possibly know, but they can make comments back and forth. And the only way that they can, those comments can get sent to other kids is if the teacher releases them. And so the teacher has the final say in what, what they've typed is to be released. You can grade your student on all different kinds of any kind of subject area you need a grade for. It tests their comprehension, and I must say that this comprehension can be quite easy, but I like that some of them are they are really good vocabulary questions. And it fosters collaboration. It asks teams of students to present a newscast based on their story I like the most. It meets our TEKS, and it's also it's basically core curriculum, but it also has a connection to the TEKS in there. You could also make it a homework assignment where the kids can do TweenTribune at home. So they'll have their own login and they can go on it online at home and read the stories that they want. And you get the information back from them of what their grades are and what they've logged into. So here I am. I'm going to show you what the website looks like. And when you go to TweenTribune, you will set up your own login. So you would just need to go to this one, log out. You would need to go to teacher sign up. And of course, it just requires your username and your password. And so once you're logged in, you can go at the top, it lists the teacher topics to get into, and you would want to go into classroom and students, and there you can start putting in your students. It locked me out because I did that on the other one. All right, so you would just set up your class, name it, and this is where you can click that you want to choose Spanish. And I've got two classes set up. I believe you can set up to 9 different classes. And I've chosen this one, the bottom one, just to be my webinar class. Then you can go in and set up your students. And what's really good about this is it only allows you to put in their first name and their last initial. And that way it really does protect their security. And the website does reinforce that several times throughout your you inputting the kids. It also gives the students a password, a computer-generated password, but if you'd like to change that, you can go in and change all the kids' passwords. And one of the other things that's kind of cool is when the kids are working on their own, you can do this template of instructions, and this is what the instructions look like that come preloaded. Goes through and tells the kids to read, kind of a check off, to read it, to take the quiz, and to make sure they do their critical thinking. And you can go in and edit this however you'd like to put it, and it comes up for the kids to see every time they log in. Okay, and as you put your kids in, you can do it, type it one at a time, or you can actually export from just a Google spreadsheet. So let me click on that, finish that up. Now, what you can do as a teacher, you can go into set up assignments, and going through and assigning an article, if you want to pick a certain type of article to read, you go up to the search and just look for it. And if you notice that I'm just taking this top one, for instance, this top Generation Xers and Millennials outvoted older generations in 2016. It gives you 4 different Lexile levels, and the kids can actually choose the one that's on their level, so that the story, although all of the kids are reading the same story, each child can pick the one that fits their level. And then the questions would also be geared more toward their level. So they could be, a little bit different for each child, but that's what makes this such a great website, is that it meets each of your child's needs. All right. And then if you look up here at the top, it also says grade K4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically, it's just those same Lexile levels are split up that way. And then going into your Spanish gives you the Spanish stories. And I don't know, I'm not quite sure if there is Spanish and English stories that are the same, but I do believe I've seen that top story before, the Dr. Seuss one. So some of them may be the same, or you could, if you have a mixed class, you could do the same story. And next, what I want to take you back home. I want to go back to the gradebook, and I just went to my dashboard, so this is me. Go back to the gradebook, and I'm going to show you what it looks like as the kids take their classes. Let me make sure I'm on my correct class. So I've had this one student he's done a couple of the stories and taken a couple of the quizzes. It gives his percent correct. It's kind of cool. And of course, none of the other kids are there, but it also gives them points. And there is a way that you can go into the teacher resources and set up giving the kids different levels of bronze, a gold, and a silver medal. And you can print out certificates if you want to have the kids set goals and then print out certificates. All right, I'm going to right now log out of the teacher version and log into a student's version to see what the kids' side looks like, because that's going to help us to really see what the kids are doing. Okay, and the kids go to the same exact website, TweenTribune, and there's also an app, so they can download that on their iPads or their laptops. All right. So I kept the instructions the same, and as you can see, here's the instructions. It pops up as soon as they log in. I haven't assigned this class any assignments, but they can go right in and see the all of the stories, and the kids can pick on their own if they would like. Now, a couple of things I do want to share that I think are really, really cool. I like this photo gallery, and it shows a picture. So let me just click there. You can see the picture below it, but let me just pick on one where like the kids would see it. Every one of them would ask you, what do you see? And there's no caption for the picture. It's just random. And the kids go down and put in their comment and post it. And of course, it goes straight to you. So you can take a grade on it, or you can verify that there's it's written without any bad words, or you can check for grammar, or any kids that are having struggles with typing or writing, spelling correctly. You cannot post theirs. But once they do that, then they get what the caption is for the story. And let's just make up something so you can see what it looks like. The question was, is this a fish in a barrel? And if the kid never heard of that, let's say, well, I do not see a fish. Maybe that is a surfing move. I would like to research that. Okay, and then they post the comment. And what happens, they also get to see kids that have already been posted. And they can go through and read, which maybe gives them some ideas. They can reply. and it could get a conversation going back and forth. And of course, if they reply, it's going to have to go through you, the teacher, first, and you can go in and release um, their comments. Okay, pretty cool stuff. So that would help them with vocabulary. It helps them with creative thinking. You could give them maybe a topic that you're studying in reading or science, and ask the kids a question related to that, because you can actually have them pick the same picture if you go through the photo gallery and pick one out. A cool thing is a daily quiz. And this is a quiz that just gives them 3 questions. Again, this is great for vocabulary and current events. Every day there's 3 new questions posted, and the kids just pick what they think, and it gives them a score. And you could use those for conversation pieces, for research at a later date. It builds them excitement in what they would want to research next, or just opens up new doors for students to learn about things that they weren't maybe familiar with beforehand. Okay, the students can now also go in and see their own scores, and they can see the test that they have taken. Obviously, Daryl didn't do too good on his daily quiz today, but he did really good on his Halloween Goes to the Dogs in New York City. So I'm going to click on that one and show you guys, actually show you another story, because I would have to find that. Let's do the cereal cafes in Europe. One of my students asked me, I wish we could go back and see the story so we could do text evidence. Because they said it was hard to remember the answers to some of the questions. Well, what they could do when they get down to the bottom and start the quiz is they can just navigate back and forth, and some of the links are broken, I've noticed, between some of the quizzes. So you just have to watch out for that. Let me find one that's not broken. Watch them all be broken. They're all being broken. Showing that. Well, I'll just go on with it. So when they take the quiz, they can navigate back and forth. So they could just use their back arrow and go back to the story and find the information they're looking for, and then go back into the quiz again. It doesn't delete their information from the quiz, although they may have to click on their answers that they'd already put in once before. But it's only 3 questions. Every quiz is only 3 questions. So, and then of course you can print the stories too if you wanted to give each kid a printed story. Every Monday morning they have Monday Morning Ready, and it's a newsletter, and it's just more stories that they add into the Tween Tribune. When I let my kids start working on Tween Tribune, I want to say that they really, really enjoyed the stories. They're short, they're informational to the kids level, and they really liked, even if it was a subject that wasn't quite kid friendly, the stories are, and they're short and easy for the kids to read, and it really draws their attention in. The pictures are really good too. It draws all the kids in. And of course, we know how much of the nonfiction stories are on the STAR test. So this website is very, very helpful for that. All right. The one thing that it doesn't have is that it does not have the audio. And I had some teachers asking me that before. That would be a cool thing, but no, it does not play audio. The kids are going to have to read it themselves. But then again, you can have everybody logged in and you can read it as a class. Those are some options because all the kids, you can set the assignment and all the kids could read it together. All the topics, all the Lexile levels, if the student wants to go in and find their own. Okay. So somebody's asking a question. How do you choose the Lexile? What you would need to know each student's Lexile level before. And of course you can get that from MAP or from, if you have AR access, you could get those Lexile levels. And it also allows you when you are registering your students, it allows you to put in their Lexile level. Or you can just have the students maybe with their information, their own personal information. Like our students at my school have a library folder and they could have their Lexile level labeled in there and they could just have that with them to know which levels to pick for themselves. This does not generate a Lexile level for each of the students. That would be something you would have to, like I said, find it on MAP or AR would be a great place to find that Lexile level that you can input here. And so if anybody else has questions and you want to post them on the chat, that would be great. We can answer those. I'm going to go back to, I do want to go back to the teachers and show you some of the lesson plans I thought were really, really interesting. So under teacher resources, lots of cool stuff. So lots of lesson plans, and also it has the Smithsonian resources that kind of takes you to a separate location. Now, I was playing around with this and I found some ideas on poetry, since our 5th grade unit right now is poetry and myths and our classical literature. And I thought that was really cool. I told my art teacher about this too, that he could find, maybe we could find him some art stories. But you can click on the different categories. You could click on levels and of course Common Core. I'm not very familiar with Common Core, so I don't really click on any of that. I just go in and maybe find a subject that I'm looking for. So let's just pick one of the lesson plans. Let's see. What about writing an email to a tree? And what it looks like, and I think all the lesson plans are very similar. It gives you access to a certain story to read or somewhere to go online. And then it lists several different options of ideas that you could actually create a lesson. And I like how it does it by grade level. And most of these activities are pretty high level, like writing an email to me and coming up with the idea of what they want to say, doing the research. To me, that would require the students to have a lot of higher level thinking skills to go through that activity. All right, so that's pretty much Tween Tribune. Like I said, I've already started using it in my classroom this year, and my students are really, really liking it. They like the stories. Um, it gets silent in the room when they're working on it, when they're working in their guided reading groups. I have one of the groups working on that also, going in and doing the picture of the day and finishing up questions that they need to work on, or even I've assigned them their own stories at their own level. And the kids really, really like it. I had a lot of good comments from the kids as I have them commenting to me to see if they liked it or not. So we'll stay on just a few more minutes and see if there's anyone else that has questions. And I'm going to leave it here for just a few minutes and wait to see if anybody has questions. I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Mars, Heather Mars, put the CPE link, sorry about that, on the chat. So if you've been following along with us and you're ready for your CPE credit, then she will provide that link for you. We're so glad that you joined us today to learn about Tween Tribune. You can contact me or Miss Mars if you want more information, or if you need some more, if you have any questions. And thank you for hanging out with us.